Lance, besides our subject today, have you watched any good movies lately?
I saw Abigail, which I thought was kind of lame. A lot of suspect accents in that, I gotta be honest. I know that's a real picky thing to mention, but it's like, dude, if you're gonna make an accent, you gotta stick with it. And the entire time, I was like, guys, you said car, now you're saying car. It's like, fucking say it once and say it the same.
You guys know what the fuck she's talking about?
I think she thinks that you brought us here to kill us.
Wow. Fantastic insight, Peter.
So I have to ask you though, because you said when you had said that, I was curious as to what you thought about Kevin Durand's performance. Because technically you can apply the accent thing to him, but I don't think it's nearly as egregious.
Well, it's everybody. Actually, the person who's the worst is Dan Stevens, and I really enjoy myself, Dan Stevens. But he kept going from like Queens, New York, and coffee to like just a British guy trying to say like car. God, dude. So Kevin Durand was a little bit rough, but I just think he played the goofball role, so it didn't really matter. Like, you know, Dan Stevens is playing this very serious antagonist, so I'm supposed to buy him. So I'm just getting annoyed. Where Mr. Kimi had like the lovable henchman kind of vibe. So I mean, I didn't love it. He's one of the issues that I'm saying, that like everybody drops their accent, but I liked him the most in the movie because I think he was the most like authentic.
Yes.
But it just wasn't for me, man.
Agreed.
The vibe of that movie is, I call it like fun, but very safe in a very just, I don't know, middle ground way. It felt like a movie for people who don't really like movies, but kind of do. I don't know. I got that vibe, you know, like it's like, oh, nowhere in this movie do we actually have any balls, whether it's going to be funny or dark. It's just very like, I don't know, middle of the road and blah.
Yeah, it's so, even the kills, they're so like, wait, what? Okay, I guess that works. There was a moment where they're driving in a car. It's like after they kidnap Abigail, and it goes like outside the car, and there's like this weird poppy type music playing. Like maybe it's more hip hop, but it's just very, it does not fit the moment. It kind of reminded me of a similar moment from the Scream films.
Let it begin. Push it away, but it's pulling me in.
However, those moments in the Scream films feel like they're throwbacks to like when Craven would do that in the Scream movies. In this, it's just like, what the fuck? This doesn't fit the vibe. What is this random song that's coming? And why are you going outside the vehicle where it looks like a Transformers movie for like 15 seconds? I don't know. I had a lot of problems with that movie.
I know the exact moment. The music was annoying. It was just very popular, but not even, I don't know. It's just, there's something missing. There's something hollow here. The only part I liked, and I think I texted it to you, was when the blonde chick, I don't know her name, I'm so sorry, but she's...
Catherine Newton, yeah.
All this to say, there's a part where she's doing the Angela kind of dance from Night of the Demons. We're playing some Danzig. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's at least fun. And the song fits the vibe, not some weird poppy stuff or hip hop. But again, I'm also the guy that digs old Misfits. So I might just have been like, oh, thank God there's something I could relate to. It was, I mean, they kept blowing up people, I guess, to be like, ooh, we're gory. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you did that in Ready or Not. It's not as impressive to me. I don't know.
There's a moment, I know this isn't the Abigail podcast, but I hate this movie and I wanted to say something about it. There's a moment where she like picks apart every person from the heist, like essentially explains stuff. It is one of the worst scenes of the last 5 years that I have witnessed in cinema, where I was just like, oh my God, they're treating it like she's so smart and intelligent from this, and she comes across like a middle schooler going, haha, gotcha.
You got bullied in school? Probably by Dad too. So when you got bigger than everyone else, you turned the tables.
It was actually the moment that I realized I was not going to like the film. That's the exact moment, because one, it's written to sound smart. And again, this is one of those things where we've been doing this long enough, and we've talked to directors and writers, and I know that it's hard to blame the writer, because once it's written, it could go through 40 fucking rewrites and ghostwriters. But if you want to keep the money, you got to have your name on it. So like I'm a little more fair about that. That being said, the people in this movie can act. I've seen him act in other things. So it makes me think either the directors don't know what they're doing or the script was kind of shitty, because that part is one of those things where in a good movie with a good script, it could be pulled off. This seemed like an imitation of that scene in other movies, like I'm smarter than you think I am, and I'm gonna pick all you guys apart. And to the end, she's a nurse. Where does this skill come from? Because you're in the crime world? Well, that means the fucking guy driving.
No, she's a combat nurse. A combat nurse. Yeah, so clearly that's...
It makes no sense. Like, the cop, fucking Stevens should have that scene. He should go around and tell everybody this because that's his job, his life. No, it came off corny. And also, like I said, I don't think she's a good actress. I never have. I'm not saying she's terrible, but she's a character actor that somehow is getting lead roles, where it's like, no, you can play this one thing. But the emotional range needed for that role was just not successful on her part. And that was supposed to make her cool, and I found it very, very dorky. In terms of movement and camera and placing and blocking, I can't find complaints, but I've yet to love something these guys have done. What?
I could not disagree more with the blocking, because every time that vampire ballerina does something, she looks like she's on wires. And every movement seems so like rehearsed and nothing feels natural, and I hated. She was my least favorite part of the movie, was Abigail.
I mean, I won't fight you on the wire stuff. When I think of blocking, I just think of like how you move in a scene where people are talking. I think that's easy to fuck up. This just looks very contemporary in terms of its style. I mean, I guess I don't love it, but I can't blame these guys more than I could blame most of the other shit I'm seeing personally. You know. But the point I'm trying to make is that I don't think they've done anything that I've loved yet. I think they just might be more fun and poppy. This could have been good, but it's not for me. It really isn't. And, I could dig fun movies, but this wasn't fun enough to be fun, and it wasn't dark enough to be cool. It wanted to have its cake and eat it too, and didn't do either well. And plus, dude, how do you fuck up Dan Stevens? How do you make me find that lame? There's a lot of issues in this whole thing.
How do you fuck up Giancarlo Esposito and make him completely useless? Fucking Gus Fring, you're gonna make him a pointless character? Why even cast him?
I think because then you could put him in the one sheet and be like, what we have. I mean, I thought it was dumb that Stevens comes back and just kills him right away. And that also had the same issue with 30 Days of Night, where I'm like, I don't like when somebody just becomes a vampire or some sort of entity and then can defeat the guy who's been doing it for like 80 centuries. I hate that. I never liked that. And this is that, where Dan Stevens is like essentially kicking Abigail's ass, but we've established that Abigail's fucking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old, and I don't give a shit of her size. She's a vampire and powerful, and she should have more of an overriding sort of talent than this fucking dude that just learned it a minute ago. Fucking 5 out of 10, man. 5 out of 10. Suck a dick.
Man, fuck this shit.